Our thoughts this afternoon are entitled, Beware the Internet of Me. Beware the Internet of Me. In 1990, computer networking was organized into the first semblances of the Internet. In 2004, the term was coined the Internet of Things. That's all the things that are connected that are not people. In 2007, the iPhone was introduced 12 years ago, the iPad in 2010, and then the revolution continued. In 2015, it was announced that there's the Internet of Me. Now, how many of you know what the Internet of Me is about? Probably very few. I'm a technology person, so I've been exposed to this. And the Internet of Me is all about things being tailored specifically to you and then monitoring you as well. How many of you have a Fitbit or something that monitors your steps? Raise your hands. You're already involved. How many of you have had your genetic code analyzed so you know your origins? A number of you. And probably more of you have been genetically tested through the medical community for diagnosis and so forth. We are in a very rapid transformation today. That's evidenced by these little devices. Work gave me my Fitbit. I didn't buy it. So even businesses are involved in this. And it's all about monitoring people and their processes. I read just this week that there's an anxiety syndrome that's come out from people that wear Fitbits or, these types of devices because they didn't get enough steps in today, right? You were in convention, you didn't get enough steps. But these things can monitor your calories, your heart rate, and how you sleep. Now, is this of interest to my employer who gave me this device? And how does that correspond to my health insurance as well? Now, on the near horizon, we're told they have an array they can put on your head that you can control your smartphone or your computer with your thoughts. And soon, they say they'll have that to where you'll be able to do that through your phone. So you won't have to use the interface as well. These are all part of the Internet of Me, and it's all about knowing what you need. Now, in the early 2000s, I attended an IBM conference called Information on Demand. And this was their global information conference. So we had people from all over the world. There was probably 20,000 people at this conference. And they announced something that all of us know is a reality today. It was the market of one. That's an interesting concept. A market of one is that rather than marketing to demographics or groups, they would collect data so that you would become a market of one. Does anyone not think they're participating in that today? When you go on Google or Amazon and you looked at something and all of a sudden ads pop up, that's the market of one. Well, this is now moving into biometric sensors that will be associated with our bodies as well. And we'll be able to control things. What's the problem with, this is pretty nice. How many of you have a home device like a Google Home or one of those? My son gave me one. So we've got it and we use it. And how many of you have cell phones? Well, virtually everybody. And if I ask this question in Africa, by the way, they all have cell phones too, and now they're moving to smartphones. So this is a global phenomenon. Now, why do I caution you about the Internet of Me? Well, just think about our cars. When I get in my car, the seat adjusts, the mirrors adjusts, the steering wheel adjusts, and everything's for me. And my wife gets in, it adjusts for her. That's pretty nice, isn't it? I like that. When I go to the hotel, well, they know my pillow preference, what floor I like. When I get on the plane, they know whether I'm aisle or window. And if I get upgraded, and then we have programs like gold and platinum and silver and elite. Does anyone not like being treated that way? All of us do, right? It's natural. I love it when I get upgraded to comfort class or first class. That's a good thing. But what are the dangers of this in our lives? Well, this is very dangerous, isn't it? It's very dangerous because we get used to it. I know one year I flew a tremendous amount. I flew to Africa and I flew all over the West Coast and I got updated to premium status. And almost every time I got on the plane, I got upgraded to first class. And I got used to it. And then I got sobered because the next year I didn't get that status and I was back there in standard class. And it's dangerous, isn't it, if we get too comfortable? So what are some of the things that can happen with us? Well, things are coming that are going to pamper us and tailor to us even more. And business knows it. And they are going to cater to you. That's what all these programs are about. So they know your tastes and your preferences. And what does that do? Well, it makes us pretty complacent. What's one of the warnings to the Laodicean church? That they would be more trusting in their money and their things than in God, isn't it? That's a danger. We are in that time. And the world, we have to live in the world. So I'm not saying get rid of your cell phone and reject the special credit card that gives you privileges, but beware. Our faith can be transferred to the things of this world and the comforts and conveniences if we're not on our guard. We're in the world, but we're not of the world. So we'll leave you with 3 questions. How does all this pampering affect our relationships? How will this affect the focus of our consecrations? And is our faith on our wealth and things and comfort and entertainment or on God?